Well, joining me now from Bengaluru is journalist and writer Sandhya Menon. She's been credited with reinvigorating the Me Too movement after sharing her own story of harassment. And from New Delhi is Udit Raj. He's a member of parliament for the ruling BJP. I thank you both for joining us on the Newsmaker. Sandhya Menon, let me begin with you. We have this resignation of MJ Akbar. Is that a victory for you? How important is it?
It's hugely important. I understand he's a junior minister, but he is hit Priya Ramani, who was the first one to come out with an allegation, with a defamation suit. And I think all of us understand that a defamation suit is a scare tactic, something to threaten and shut voices of truth, and I'm going to say truth, voices of truth down. And him being, the government hasn't taken any stand on its own, right? And him stepping down as a minister is a huge victory and sends a message to two people. One, those who are considering filing accusers for defamation, and those of us who have accused and who are fighting for this movement, that we can get this done. And we are serious, which is not limited to talking about it in social media. But it's a hugely encouraging step for us to say, okay, now we need to go farther and walk through due process to make spaces safer and to have legislative change and policy change.
Okay, so Udit Raj, MJ Akbar's resignation, was it the right thing to do?
Let me tell you whole perspective. That is what I said, that if you are going to interview as a member of parliament, I will not give my interview. Yes, as a Dalit activist, as a human rights activist, as a citizen of the country, I'm here to talk about this issue. Okay?
I'm sorry, I don't see what the problem is. I introduced you and your title, and I'm asking you a question. Udit Raj resigning, was that the right thing to do?
That is what I'm telling you, is that there is no doubt about. I'm not going to speak about that because of the fact that I'm not a authorized person from the party to speak about the party. Because there are the spokesperson in the party to speak about the party and politics. I'm not in that capacity unless the party authorizes me. I cannot speak. I cannot say anything about the politics. But as far as this issue is concerned,
okay,
I have my perspective is that I do not deny there is no discrimination against the women, there is no discrimination against Dalit, untouchables. There is a huge discrimination. And what I said is that there is a casting couch, of course, men force sex on them and they ask for sexual favor. What I have a take is that mere statement, whether verbal or written, if it is treated as a judgment to punish somebody, then what is the use of policing system and judicial system? And one. And second is that in a room, two people meet, man and woman, what happens inside the room and who's witnessing? And without any evidence or witness, one cannot reach a conclusion. That is what I have to say.
But even the law disagrees with that, Udit Raj, to say that one cannot reach a conclusion. If one party says that it was not consensual, we look at evidence and we look at the surrounding issues here. We can't just say that because nobody else was there, there's no way to actually find out what happened. You would accept that even legally, right?
How can you? Anybody can go for a personal score. It can be planted. I am in a public. I meet 300 people. I have come across many such cases where the cases are motivated. I know it. How can you say like this?
Okay, so Udit Raj, can I ask you a question? Sir, if you don't mind.
One gender is fair and one gender.
Sir, do you have a daughter?
Justice.
Sir, do you have a daughter?
Not a system of.
Do you have a daughter, sir?
Sorry?
Do you have a daughter?
I have a daughter.
Okay. So allow me to ask this question. If your daughter said she was raped by someone and there was nobody else there, would you accept it as an argument that, well, there was nobody else in the room, so there's no way we can verify, so that's that. It's his word against hers.
If she comes to tell me after 10 years and 5 years, I will slap her. Why didn't say at that time?
Okay, that's interesting.
Okay. Second,
after 5 or 10 years.
Let me tell you, there should be medical tests.
Okay.
And
so after
there should be time frame. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. What are you talking about? Revealing after 40 years, 30 years? Then of course nobody is safe in the world.
Okay, this is
Anybody
interesting.
Can be implicated.
So let me ask Sandhya Menon about this. Sandhya, what does this say about those who say, I mean, we have Udit Raj, an MP, saying, hey, if you do not come forward immediately, then your entire testimony is disregarded. Okay, so Sandhya.
After December, 40 years.
Okay, Sandhya, address that.
40 years. After 40 years.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
I have just one thing to say to Mr. Raj. I don't know if he's actually spoken to women. I don't know if he has friends who are women. I don't know if his wife and his daughter trust him to talk about how they feel after assault or after a certain incident of harassment. But the first few things that women don't come forward is exactly the attitude that Mr. Raj is displaying right now, which is no one else was there. How will I believe you? Let's dump this. Right? That's precise. If when I come and say there's no evidence, it doesn't have to be rape, right? Rape has medical evidence. You could go to a hospital and get all of that sorted. But if, like in my case, I was forcibly kissed or I was forcibly touched without my consent, and there is no evidence for it, does that mean that that's one of the first things that stops me, saying how will I go forward and prove to somebody that this happened to me? And Mr. Raj talks about there are many cases of false accusations to settle scores and to, I don't know, play whatever games.
I have evidences. I can give you evidences. I can give you evidences.
Excellent. I'm glad you have evidence. I'm glad you have evidence, Mr. Raj, but I'm not talking to you right now. Can I just finish what I'm saying?
Whatever.
I'd like him to look at. I'd like to look at.
In case of.
I will not speak.
Okay, Mr. Raj, give her a second. Mr. Raj, give her a second.
In living relationship,
Mr. Raj,
they have lived together months and years together happily, on agreement. After that, it becomes a rape.
Hold on, Mr. Raj.
Many people are languishing in the jail.
Mr. Raj, give Sandhya Menon a chance.
And independent.
Sandhya, go ahead.
I'd like him to look up the statistics of how many numbers stack up against, and how many numbers of false accusations stack up against genuine accusations of assault and harassment. There is no question that there are fewer cases of false accusations as opposed to real cases of harassment. This doesn't even count. And he comes from a generation where women are not believed and women are shown their place constantly. And I refuse to even engage in a manner without being angry. It's hard for me to engage with this man without being angry at what he's saying. I haven't, by the way, none of us have kept quiet. We all tell our friends, we all tell our husbands, boyfriends, fathers, and they all tell us it's okay, work through it. We live in a world where rules are set by men, just like Mr. Raj. There is no space for us. We're claiming that space right now.
Okay.
And the rule is
by the way,
you.
I'd like to say.
Then Indian Evidence Act is scrapped. The Constitution is scrapped. Indian Evidence Act is scrapped. Indian Penal Code is scrapped. Policing system is thrown to the dustbin. Judicial system is thrown to dustbin. There is no evidence. Mere verbal
I'd like to say something here.
Evidence.
I'm sorry. Can you please let me speak? I'd like to state here that even evidence of having finished this, gone through a certain instance of harassment, going out and talking to a superior, a friend, someone at the place of work, and saying, hey, this happened to me 1 hour ago, 1 day ago, that counts as corroborative evidence. All right? And that is taken into consideration beautifully in the court of law. As far as due process is concerned, Mr. Raj, are you saying that due process works for women? I will tell you about the Tarun Tejpal case. It was in a fast track. It was supposed to take 8 months. It's 5 years this right now.
My personal credential and my Lok Sabha. You can never be head of me as far as feminism is concerned, as far as standing with the women is concerned. You can check my credentials. And you people are keeping quiet on Sabrimala, where the women are struggling for, agitating for their slavery. Many of the women, they are preventing other women that they should not enter. These are the larger issues. Why
I'm sorry, these are not larger issues.
These are
Just
the
because,
larger
no,
issues.
you're derailing the conversation, Mr. Raj. These are not larger issues. These are issues as large as the ones we are fighting. You're telling me working in a safe space, at a place of work, your daughter being entitled to
you get survey
at work is
your
not
credential, my credential. Get survey your credential, my credential. I'm a more feminist than anybody here. What are you talking about? Come to my constituency. Come the people around me. But innocent people should not be punished. Innocent people should not be punished. There are cases of honey trap. There are cases of money extortion. There are cases of living relationships. Living relationships are misused.
Okay, Udit Raj, let me ask you, if we can take a breath here. Udit Raj, let me ask you, do you believe that there is a problem that needs to be solved, or do you not think that there's a problem at all?
There is a problem. At the outset, I said, women are exploited in workplace. There is a casting couch. Many men are like a wolf. They, of course, the whole women as a gender, as a class, is excluded from religious, economic, health, education system.
Sandhya, one of the criticisms of Me Too in general, whether it's in the United States, whether it's in India and elsewhere, is that when it's a single movement under a single hashtag, sometimes all the experiences tend to sort of melt into the same thing. So people then stop distinguishing between some guy who might just be a jerk, who says, I need hot women for my movie, versus somebody who might... Hold on, Mr. Raj, can I please ask the question? Please, please, please. So Sandhya, between somebody who says, oh, I need hot women for my movie, versus somebody who actually says terrible things to women, versus somebody who touches somebody and might have harassed them, versus somebody who might actually physically assault and maybe even, rape someone. So what happens is they all sort of get lumped together and stirred in the same pot. Would you accept that, especially with the digital world and with things like Twitter, there's a tendency for this type of thing to happen? Is that a fair criticism, Sandhya?
An absolutely fair criticism, which is why I think all of us have insisted that some of us keep the voice of harassment at workplace going and keep that message strong, right? So that we don't mix a bad date, we don't mix assault, we don't mix a friend who doesn't know how to behave himself with being assaulted at work. For instance, me and a couple of others have kept our messaging extremely strong, saying we're only talking about cases that have that are of harassment at workplace. Some others have taken up causes of just better behaved men. And I think that's a great approach, and it is fair criticism. I mean, I think it all comes from the fact that there is no place to go for women. And like I keep saying, and all of us keep saying, due process has failed us. And therefore, this is one way to go about it.
I support her.
Okay, so Mr. Raj, how about, rather than seeing this as being something that's trying to replace due process with a kind of mob justice, how about you see it as so many other activists are seeing it, as something that gives an impetus, as something that gives momentum for due process to finally take women seriously when they say something bad happened? It's not replacing it, it's giving it a push until it gets to the courts.
See what happened. At the outset itself, I said, I'm not denying. I think I'm more sensitive than others. My heart bleeds how women are exploited in this country. And in religious sphere, they have been kept away. What is happening in Sabrimala? And they are considered impure in this society. Menstruating women are considered impure in society. My own mother was enjoying slavery at my home. There is a documentary on me, and where I have accepted it that my mother used to enjoy slavery. Women enjoy slavery. Slaves enjoy slavery because they live in false consciousness. There is no denying the fact. What happened is that now there was a time when every 10, 15 years in every offices, corporate, even government, there used to be preference for girl receptionist. Now they are out. One. Second, now I often hear in public domain that no, we will not do any partnership or business with women. This is what I'm saying. And third, that the people, men control economic world, religious world, social world, and educational world. All walks of life are controlled by them. This is a very unfortunate or pathetic situation in India. And of course, there are decadent culture, there are traditions, all festivals, traditions, culture, mostly to exploit women. And women here are said that they are respected, they are worshipped. I say that don't worship them. Give them share in the economy. Give them power. They give them equality. And my heart bled it. And
Okay.
I've been 2-3 days in Sabrimala. Women are struggling. I have read the global. I
Okay.
know the world history, Greek history, Roman history, European history, Far Eastern. No section has fought for its slavery. But today, what is happening in Sabrimala? Thousands of women are fighting for their slavery, that women should not be allowed to enter the Sabrimala. This
Okay.
is the state of affairs.
Okay, Mr. Raj.
This is the constitutional that which section in the world has ever fought for its slavery. This is happening in this
Okay,
country.
Mr. Raj.
And unfortunately, let me tell you, political parties are supporting.
Okay, and listen, I think near the end of this,
I'm so disappointed.
Okay.
I'm so disappointed.
And I thank you for that.
I don't think that I don't see any light coming in this country.
Okay.
That
Mr. Raj,
people.
I understand you fully, but I really have to move on now. Okay, so I really have to move on. And I'm glad on some of the sort of underlying cultural issues, I think the two of you agree on most of it. There was more disagreement at the beginning here, but this is a conversation that needs to continue, and we look forward to having you both back on the program sometime soon. Sandhya Menon and Udit Raj, thank you very much for joining us on the Newsmakers.